Good day, everyone. 2-4 multiplying rational numbers. We're going to start off with number 1, and 1, 2, and 3, and also 4. No, just 1, 2, and 3 are focusing on multiplication of rational numbers.
I agree, Mr. Pottinger.
You agree with me, Mr. Walker, that it
Yes.
is focusing on multiplication of rational numbers?
That's what you're focusing on today.
Let me ask you this. When you have a positive number multiplied by a positive number, do you think your result would be a positive result?
That's what I would guess. I
Okay.
would say a positive times a positive would be a positive.
Would you say that a negative times a negative would also be a positive?
I would also agree with you on that, Mr. Pottinger.
Wow. Would you say that a positive A times a negative B is going to give you a negative C?
Again, Mr. Pottinger, I will agree with you.
Wow. Would you say that anytime you have the exact same sign, like in number 1 and like in number 2, your result's always going to be positive?
I would agree again.
And the last question, if you have signs that are different, like in number 3, in which we had a positive and a negative factor multiplied by one another, that you're going to get a negative response?
And again, Mr. Pottinger, you're very smart.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Walker. We'll see you later. It's nice hearing from you. All right, so again, the point. Anytime you're multiplying factors to get a product, if the factors you're multiplying by have the exact same sign, the product's always going to be positive. If the factors you're multiplying by have different signs, the answer is going to be a negative. Number 4 would be an example of a multiplication problem that you are going to have to be able to work out. We have 2 times 5 and 1/3. You cannot ever multiply a mixed number. Matter of fact, anytime you're doing any math, in my class anyways, with a mixed number, you need to automatically convert it to an improper fraction. So in this case, we are going to take the number 2, and we're going to not multiply it by 5 and 1/3. We're going to multiply it by 16/3 because of your around the world rule that you now know. 2 times 16/3. Knowing how to multiply fractions states, or you know, not states, you know that you multiply the numerator by the numerator, 2 times 16, and the denominator by the denominator, which technically 2 is the same as 2 over 1, so you're going to do 1 times 3. Our answer is not 32/3 because no answers could ever be left as an improper fraction, so we're going to convert 32/3 from an improper fraction back into our final answer, which is going to be a mixed number. And you are going to get 10 2/3 for your final answer. Number 5. A very similar problem. In this case, we actually do not have to convert anything because we have 2 fractions that are not improper. And we have two fractions that are not mixed numbers. So in this case, we are simply going to take 1/8 and we're going to multiply it by -6/7. And when you're multiplying fractions, it's numerator by numerator over denominator times denominator. So in this case, 1 times 6 is going to give you 6. 8 times 7 is going to give you 56. And don't forget, you have a negative sign here. You do not have a negative sign here. Since you have one negative sign and one positive sign, you know your answer is going to be a -656. And again, being the smart lads that you are, you know that -656 is not a acceptable answer because it is not in lowest terms. We know that 2 goes into 6, and we know that 2 goes into 56. So when we reduce this down, we're getting 3/28 as our final answer. Number 6. We are not multiplying fractions anymore. We are multiplying decimals. In this case, we are going to rewrite our problem so that it is an easier problem to show our work on. We have -3 75/100ths, and we're going to multiply that by 4/10. When multiplying fraction, or when multiplying decimals, you do your long multiplication process or your multiplication process and worry about the decimals at the end. And by the way, this is -4. 5 times 4 is 20, put down the 0, carry the 2. 7 times 4 is 28, add 2, it's 30, put down the 0, carry the 3. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15. We have an answer of 1,500 at the moment. But because we have a decimal here and a decimal here, we're going to start from the very end of the problem and count how many places in the decimal point is. So in this case, if we started after the 5, we would go 1, 2. If we started after the 4, we would go 1. 2 decimal points in, 1 decimal point in, 2 plus 1 is 3. We're going to start right here and go 1, 2, 3. Our answer is going to be 1.500, or you could also just express that as 1.5. Final answer, box it, good to go. Doesn't matter how many zeros you have after that last number. Sirius, my friend, paints. Sirius paints 1/20th of his painting every single day, or he painted 1/20th of his painting every single day last week. As you know, there are 7 days in a week, and we want to know how much of his painting did he complete last week. So we are going to take the fact that there are 7 days in a week, and we're going to multiply every single day he painted times 1/20th. 1/20th. 7 times 1 is 7. We know that this is technically 7 over 1. Numerator times numerator again. 7 times 1 is 7. Denominator times denominator. 1 times 20 is 20. Sirius painted 7/20ths of his painting last week. He still has 13/20ths left to paint. Good luck.